Yay! Happy Fri-YAY, divas! This is a very, very special New Year's edition of Fri-YAY. So, Happy New Year! I hope that you're having a great New Year's Eve and you're staying safe and healthy and happy and all of that good stuff. We are celebrating today on Fri-YAY because this is the 50-second video. It's like a whole year's worth of weekly videos that have happened, and I hope that you've been enjoying them, and I hope that continue to tell people about them. And I woke up this morning with this story on my heart and I wanted to share it today. So we'll just see where this goes. I'm not entirely sure with how Fri-YAYs happen. So the story that I was thinking about is somehow it occurred to me, I have been lucky enough to be praised more recently for having good diction. This is a thing that comes up and they say, like, I can understand every single word. And I say, thank you. I work really hard on that. But it reminded me that I used to get a note about having really terrible diction. I used to get, particularly in French. And one of the things that occurred to me as I was thinking about this morning as I woke up, that I didn't know how to make vowels during that time. And if you're a vocalist, if you're a wind player that has to make certain vowel shapes, you can understand that this might be very challenging. If you are approaching your instrument, you have no idea how to make vowels. So I thought about this and it kind of bubbled up to the surface. And one of the things that I've been talking about recently is symptoms versus cause, right? Are you paying attention to what's on the surface, what the symptoms are of the thing that you're experiencing, or are you getting to the deeper root cause? And I got a lot of these notes from professionals at the time, especially when it came to French, where they were like, oh, you really got to work on your diction. And it was because I couldn't figure out how to make an E vowel appropriately. This was just something that was missing from my training for quite a while. And you have to change the shape of your tongue. If you've been in my voice studio, when I'm like talking about closed vowels versus open vowels and what the tongue shape looks like for that. And it's because I learned this, didn't come to this intuitively. So I really needed to practice this. So I was also a French minor in school, didn't have any problem in class because in my speaking voice, I was able to make the sounds that we were making. But when it came to singing, I wasn't able to create some of the vowel sounds that we were talking about. And it really got in the way. But the note that I kept getting was, you need to work on your French. It wasn't, you have a problem with your E vowel. So that would have been a lot easier to deal with. So if the note is, you need to work on your French, then I go, oh, great. Okay, well, I really got to work on this. And I'm diving back in and I'm I'm going through all of my IPA, my transliterations, going through all of this. And I'm going like, okay, I really know it. I really know it. And then I go in and I get another note from, a competition or a studio class or a lesson. And they go, you really need to work on your French. And I was like, okay, what part of it do I need to work on? Right. So this was the story that was kind of bubbling up to me today. And I thought maybe this is useful to talk about in a Fri-YAY because you might be having the same experience with something that's going on in your professionally creative life, right? You might be getting a note or you might be feeling stuck on something and you're actually noticing the symptom, but not the cause of it. So your Fri-YAY for today is really to take a look at anything that's been, on your heart recently and something that might be feeling a little stuck or feeling a little uncomfortable or you feel like it's just not moving the way you want it to go. It's not going the way that you want it to go in your career, in your life, whatever. And I want you to ask yourself, am I looking at the symptom or am I looking at the cause? And ask yourself, even if you think it's the cause, is there something else that's actually making this happen that maybe I've been able to shield from my vision and dive in a little bit deeper. Because one of the things that I always talk about when I'm doing coaching sessions, when I talk about the framework, I remember, when I first started coaching, people were coming to me with business questions and great, I love this. Let's talk about those business things. So if your music business is healthy, you've got your offers, your clients and systems are on lock. And I kind of dove into a lot of those questions with my clients at the time by giving them all sorts of logistical help and things to work on to make sure that those three areas were working. And then I would check back in with my clients, and sometimes it wasn't working. And I said, okay, well, did you implement any of these suggestions, or do you have any feelings about what you want to do instead? And it wasn't that they didn't know to do the steps of that. It wasn't that it was too hard. It wasn't that it was out of reach. It was a step before that where they were thinking, this isn't available to me. So we talk about this. I've added over the course of time, part of my framework now has a lot to do with what are my most desired outcomes? What's my story? What are some of the things that have happened that got me to this place where I'm at right now? And mindset. Mindset is what you think about what you're doing, right? And I realized that we could give suggestions, recommendations. I can give suggestions and recommendations forever. We can talk about all sorts of solutions, but if there's a step in the goals, in your history, in your mindset, there's a step that's in conflict with those, you're not going to be able to implement. And so we have to get back to some of that, the cause rather than the symptoms. It's not that you don't know how to market yourself. It's not that you don't, it's not that you're paid for what you're doing. It's sometimes there's some stuff below that that says, I don't deserve to get paid for this, or I don't know how to ask to get paid, or I don't know, I don't feel comfortable talking about myself in front of other people, or I don't feel comfortable sharing what it is that I do, and I'm not ready to be rejected in this situation. Take a look at what it is. Maybe none of those scenarios are the thing that you're thinking about right now, but I want you, since it's the new year, we've got all these days in front of us together. I want you to think about what's on my heart, what's on your heart, and say, am I looking at the symptoms or am I looking at the cause? And whatever that is, let's move into this new year able to tackle what's at the root, able to tackle the bigger issue, the bigger challenge, right? So over time, I was very lucky, going back to my original story, I was very lucky to finally bump into someone who noticed what the root was, because I wasn't able to do it for myself. I wasn't able to figure that out. I thought that I was doing an eval correctly. So I thought that that's, I, but I thought that I was doing what I needed to do. I thought that I was fixing my diction. I thought that I was doing vowels correctly. And I finally bumped into someone who said, would you like some help on this? It sounds like you're struggling with this thing. And once that piece was addressed, things started to fall into place. And I was able to make the sounds I wanted to make with a lot more ease and efficiency and spin and the glowiness that we want in our sound. And honestly, I think about that today. And anytime I get that note from someone that says, wow, that feedback where they say, I understood every word from the stage. And I go, oh, thank God. Thank God I found the root of that. And so now I get to have this feeling, right? It was hard. It was hard to like relearn technique, right? I was certainly at a point where I was like, oh, I got to figure out how to sing. But like relearning technique can be a challenge and can be scary, but it's so, oh, it pays such dividends. So today or tomorrow or the next week or the next month or this coming year, ask yourself, am I looking at the symptoms or am I looking at the cause? All right, divas, stay sparkly inside and out. Have the most amazing new year. I can't wait to see where our adventures take us.